Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Level With Me. I'm Mike,
I'm Corey.
and this is our, well, I guess, one of our new Let's Plays. This will be my first one where I play and Corey watches. If you guys haven't heard from my previous videos over on the Collector's Vault, I'm a huge Metroid fan, and I thought it'd be a good idea to play Metroid Zero Mission for my very first Let's Play. Now, Corey, you said you've never played this game. Well, you haven't played any Metroid games before, right? Besides Other M and Prime 3, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, unfortunately, it's not. I wouldn't say that's a good library for Metroid games to only start with. But regardless, I'm happy to have you watch this game.
Half of the Metroid games I played are probably really good games.
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of just
Half of the Metroid games I played.
Yeah, I know which half is the bad one. So, for those of you who don't know, Zero Mission is a remake of the original Metroid. And, yeah, and I will say, I've said before, and I'll say it again, even though this is a remake from, 2004, I do think this is probably, the greatest 2D Metroid game ever made. And I'm saying that it's better than Super Metroid, hands down, in my opinion. I know that's probably a very divisive statement, among other Metroid fans, but I acknowledge how amazing how amazing Super Metroid is. It really is incredible. But I just feel like when it comes to comparing the two games, Zero Mission takes everything that was good about Super Metroid and just takes all the improvements that Metroid Fusion had. Because Metroid Fusion is also an incredible game. And, this game is just so... I don't know, I think this game's just perfect. It's so refined. It's also very quick, though, and easy, but I think it's still a great game. It's definitely a great game to get people into the series. Someone like you, for example. That's why I'm telling you, Corey, I would really recommend you play Zero Mission. And then...
What was up with those bird hieroglyphs?
So, so I was kind of rambling. But anyway, so here we are on Planet Zebes. This is actually the planet where Samus was taken as a child by these birds people. They're called the Chozo. It's
my favorite stage in Smash 64.
Oh, Brinstar? Yeah. Well, technically, it's...
No. In Smash 64, the stage is just Planet Zebes.
Oh, that was called... Okay, I thought it was called Brinstar. Well, because right now, the look... Oh, I'm not even sure if you're being serious or not. Anyway.
No, I am.
But you're right. I know, but I didn't know. It's been a while since I played 64. I didn't know if it was called Brinstar or Planet Zebes, because technically the area that we are in is called Brinstar. It's like the rocky cavern-like area, and the planet is Zebes. But yeah, it is a very cool map on 64. I like it. Actually, in Melee, they had one of those Chozo statues, get up and walk around. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
So now you know what they are. But yes.
And there's even a level like this in the adventure mode in Melee where you have to leave Planet Zebes.
That's right, yeah. We'll get there eventually. So right now, the first thing I got was my Morph Ball, which gives Samus the ability to, roll up into a ball.
Wow, they explode.
Yeah, they're kamikazes. But here's our next basic upgrade, and it's funny, in the original Metroid, this actually was an upgrade. The long beam lets Samus's beam fire across the entire screen.
Damn.
I know. She needs an upgrade for that.
Well, this is the NES remake, right?
Yeah, so they were just doing that to hold true to the original.
Yeah.
So now, initially, I wouldn't be able to shoot all these blocks. Now I can. And I will show you this. There actually is a little trick where you can actually shoot and... I think I might have shown this before. You can shoot and follow the beam and break these little blocks. These are here so that way you actually can't... go this way, but I'm gonna see if I can it's actually like a sequence, not a sequence break, but it's like a way you can
yeah, I'm seeing it. Oh, that was close.
Not fast enough.
It's very precise.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have to do it. I did it on my other Let's Play on my on the Collector's Vault channel. It's finicky. It's so whatever. It's not a big deal because technically. It just lets you skip the next cutscene, which I'm going to show anyway for the sake of the Let's Play. So, technically, the long beam did make my beam a little stronger. It actually is bigger if you didn't. It's kind of hard to tell because this is kind of like a somewhat mandatory cutscene just so that way you go this way. Because this right here is actually the end game. This is the gateway to the space pirate base. And it's obviously blocked, you can't go anywhere. So they want you to come over here and see that, you know. But then the door locks. Oh no. The yellow stuff you see below me is acid, and it will hurt Samus if you jump into it. And there's a mini boss right here that, again, you could actually skip, but I'm going to fight it for you guys. Oh no.
I thought that was just nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese? Nah.
That was a mini boss? You killed that thing like it was nothing.
I know. That's just because I know where to stand and where to shoot. These little statues that show you like kind of like your next destination. This was new. This is the only game that really well, Metroid Fusion did have like a navigation way to kind of pinpoint where you should be heading. These things are just kind of like, you know, they kind of make sense in the context of the game. We're like, yeah, you get into a statue. The statues will actually fully heal you, and I think they'll also replenish all of your weapons, which is nice. And then they will actually give you a little bit of a heads up. I don't need them, but like some of them, like you can actually skip a lot of them. But that one, for example, was like was mandatory. I had to go through it. If I did my little like sequence break thing, I could have skipped that as well because I know where I'm going.
But what's that purple guy you got?
Oh, there's like a little spider thing that if you get too many on you, they will start to hurt you. And
bro, all I gotta say is that literally this is just so familiar to me now because I played Axiom Verge like a month or two ago.
Yeah,
like
you're gonna see
now I'm starting to see how much Axiom Verge was a complete homage to this game.
Yep. Now,
like literally that hallway you went down, and well, first you went up, and then you went down. Like that's straight out of Axiom Verge. And there are little enemies like those
that crawl.
Verge.
Yeah, that crawl around and everything. Yeah. Now the next upgrade we got is the missile, which you can toggle with the trigger, and got a little bit of a mini boss here. They can only be hurt with missiles. This guy can be a bit wonky.
Boss.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Zelda boss. Like the first Zelda boss always has like a big eye
like
for the bow and arrow.
Yeah, Goma the spider, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, Charge Beam. Many Smash players know this.
What? Why? Okay, now why does the long and the charge shot like why are they in like little dragon heads?
Yeah,
like, they're little.
In the original, yeah, in the original Metroid game, there were like relics that I guess are Chozo relics. And they were like little. They weren't all dragons. There was a dragon, a crab, a lizard, and a dinosaur, and little jewels with like an L on it for long, or a P for plasma, an I for ice, a C for charge, and they were the weapon, the beam upgrades. So they kind of like stayed true to that, which is pretty cool. Super Metroid also has that. Yeah. Actually, I'm going the wrong way. Oops. But now that we have the missile, I can actually open up red doors, which require one missile. In the original Metroid and Super Metroid, they required 5 missiles, so that was kind of annoying if you ran out of missiles. You had to replenish it. But here it's just one, which is nice. See, right now I think I'm getting hurt by this little... Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind.
I love the jump effect where you have like that shadow. It's so cool looking.
Yeah. Oh, the little after image. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I really was thinking about this today. Like, I really appreciate the GBA. I think it was one of the best systems Nintendo ever made because basically they just were able to make more SNES games. Like, if you think about it, this is just like a modern SNES game.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this is basically like how I think. This is like if they really could, I think they would have loved to make Super Metroid like this, but obviously they.
They were limited by the time.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what I criticize about Super Metroid. Like that's why I have to always explain myself that I'm not saying it's a bad game. Again, I do believe it's a masterpiece and it deserves all of the praise that it has received. It's just more like when you compare it to modern games, they have obviously. It's kind of good to show that Nintendo improved upon. They took Super Metroid and just patched over any holes that existed because there were a few, but. Super Metroid did so many things well, that's why it's so great. And obviously, it basically like defined the Metroidvania genre. That's like why the game is so critically acclaimed. Also, the motion was a bit of a problem for me. Like even to this day, whenever I go back over here is a map room, which I'll show you for the sake of Let's Play. these were introduced in Super Metroid as well. They show you part of the map, which is kind of nice. But
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, again, and the cool thing is they will never show you the full map, just like in Super Metroid. So that way they help you. They kind of help guide you, but they don't actually tell you everything, and they don't tell you where to go, which is the best part about Metroid games, or just Metroidvania games in general. I forgot what I was talking about earlier about Super Metroid and stuff. Oh yeah, so in Super Metroid, one problem I had is that Samus's jump is very floaty, which is kind of one of the things that game is known for, because like Samus is, like, really has a lot of air time when she jumps. And then even in Metroid Fusion, her jump was kind of floaty, but in Zero Mission, they made her jump like perfect in my opinion. It's just nice and snappy and quick, and she feels like she has weight when she jumps. And now we got the Morph Ball bombs, another very iconic thing in Metroid that most Smash players would recognize.
Now, I gotta ask you this: since you're a big Metroid fan, have you played the 3DS, the remake of the Game Boy one?
Oh, Samus Returns?
Metroid 2? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I have. Yes. That's actually one of the review videos that I'm working on, comparing that to AM2R. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because I thought that looked really cool. Like, I would love to have played that if I had a 3DS.
Yep. Oh.
Like, that looks like a really good modern Metroid.
It actually is a very good Metroid. I think it is. It's different. And I mentioned this in my review that the game is incredible. I love Samus Returns. It definitely has they do introduce new game mechanics and stuff, because the controller for the 3DS is much more, it has more buttons than the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. And I love that you have an analog stick on the 3DS, and it actually does give Samus 3D or 360 degrees of like aiming freedom, which is amazing. I should forget this. I forget. Is this a statue? I think this is just a statue. So you don't actually have to go here, but I don't know.
Ooh, those enemies look annoying.
Yeah, it's a statue. I don't need this, but whatever. I'll take the energy heal. This should tell us to go to Norfair. Yep. Norfair is another notable place for many Super Smash Bros. Players, because it's also a map. It's basically like the volcanic section.
Yeah, as someone who's played many Metroidvanias, even though I haven't played this or any other really Metroid game, I see a lot of the influence, and this looks really cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, coming from someone like me who's like a Metroid nut, like of course I'll say it's cool, but it does feel good having someone like a newcomer like you say that, hey, like you see the quality of this and you see how funny it could be. I actually am really hoping that they would introduce something like this to the Switch, like an actual, like a collection of the old, because right now people can't really play some of these games unless they have a Game Boy or a Game Boy Advance, especially Zero Mission and Fusion. So, although people can play Metroid 1 and Super Metroid on the Switch, you can't play some of the, again, what I think are some of the best games of all time for Metroid, which is Zero Mission and Fusion.
I'm pretty surprised they didn't just port like what they would put that remake of Metroid 2 on the Switch and just maybe like pretty it up a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually wondering why they didn't just. I would love for them to.
They
put
did the remake of
on
Link's Awakening, and that's a GBA game or Game Boy game.
Oh yeah, I would love them to do that. Okay, there is a really annoying sequence break I can do if I go up here, but I really don't feel like doing that. I'm gonna go. I will do. Nah, I'm not going to do any sequence breaking for you guys. I kind of want you to actually enjoy the game for how it was intended to be played. But, yeah. But yeah, back to what you're saying. Yeah, I would really love them to do, like, Samus Returns on the Switch. I think there were a lot of people hoping for that. Like, just port it over there. It'd be great, but, yeah. Because that's probably it's one of the few things that's wrong with Samus Returns is that the game is on the 3DS, so, like, because the graphical detail is so impressive, but it's so choppy because it's on, that kind of hardware.
I'm really enjoying these like cutscenes.
I love these. Yeah, they're cool. They're so subtle, but they're perfect. So
I love the like style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like very like manga look to it, which is awesome.
Yeah, it reminds me of like something you'd see on Toonami.
Yeah, I think they were inspired by the Metroid manga. And yes, for those who don't know, there is a Metroid manga,
You're right. Yeah.
and I read it. It's very good.
It's like Legend of Zelda ones too. I always wanted to get into that. Like, there's one for like every game.
I think. Oh yeah, you're right. There is. There's even like a
And
manga.
I've never
for,
read
like,
any of them, but I would be interested. I know they also did a Splatoon manga recently, which I would also like to read.
a Splatoon manga. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think that came out right around when Splatoon 2 came out.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so it's like kind of new.
All right. Well, for those watching, we are now in Norfair, the volcanic area of Planet Zebes. I know.
Yeah, looks just like the stage.
Yeah, I know my icon told me to go over here, but trust me, you'll learn. Just from experience, you'll go that way, but you realize you can't get very far. And that's one of the things I like about the Metroid games is that this one it tells you your next goal, but it won't tell you how to get there. So they want you to explore, and you will actually find your way to this other elevator and get to a new area of Metroid called Crateria, which is basically just the surface area of Planet Zebes. This was first introduced in Super Metroid, but not in the original Metroid game. There we go. There should be a missile upgrade. There it is.
I like that water effect.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much just a texture, but I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's the graphical. There's little details I do appreciate too, because like I think I mentioned before I was trying to make my own little Metroidvania game, and it's kind of cool like when you learn all those like little tricks of how to make those like the parallax scrolling and stuff for the backgrounds. That's kind of cool.
I think this game looks beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. So we come to this little block here, and you really can't go anywhere, but you can go this way. This was kind of introduced to the Metroid series. These little mystery items. This Chozo statue looks very old, doesn't it?
Unknown item.
Yeah, apparently this is an upgrade that Samus' suit will not let you use for some reason.
For now.
Yeah, but then it lets you blow up these blocks. So just for the sake of being able to progress, they want you to get that item before you can progress. For those of you who are Metroid fans, you can kind of tell by the symbol what this is. And I guess I'll do a bit of a spoiler for you guys. That is actually that little dragon statue that you saw earlier with the beam weapons. So technically what we got is a beam upgrade that our suit cannot use yet. But we'll unlock it. Yeah, but we'll unlock it later. There's also a sequence break here that you can do, but it's actually really tough. They want you to fall into this pit here, but technically, if you use Morphball Bombs, you can jump. Technically, if you do this, you can actually... I almost had it. But then you can go across this ledge and get without getting this next upgrade, but you really shouldn't do that because you won't get very far.
Wow.
This is a very important upgrade. This is introduced in Metroid Fusion, not as an upgrade, but just as a concept. The power grip lets you grab on the ledges and climb up. Simple as that.
That's so useful.
So useful, yeah. Like in Super Metroid, there are times where like your character, like your knees can get up to a ledge and you'll just miss it, and that's why people had to use like the wall jump to really get around. But in Metroid Fusion, they introduced ledge grabbing, and I guess for the sake of this game, they made it where okay, well your suit's pretty heavy, so here now you have the power grip, which is required to pull yourself up. So simple, but very
tutorial to use it. That's
great.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's the other great thing. This game doesn't really hold your hand, but they do give you little like tips and puzzles. Technically, you can somewhat get out of there without using the power grip with an incredible thing that they introduced in Super Metroid, wall jumping, which is pretty broken. Because in Super Metroid, that's how you do most of your sequence breaking is with wall jumping. Because technically, ordinary wall jumping is... Oh yeah, we're at our ship. I don't know how we ended up in that cavern in the beginning of the game, because technically our ship's up here and not down the caverns, but anyway. But yeah, like in Super Metroid, you can... They wanted you to go... If there was like a tower, or like a... I can't really explain it. Like a sequence where like you can like wall jump off one wall, then jump to the other, and I think you probably saw that like in some of the like Super Mario games, like Super Mario 64. You jump back and forth on a wall. You can do that with Samus too. But in Super Metroid, you only need one wall because you can actually like just shift all your momentum back to the first wall where you jumped and just scale an entire wall by yourself, and that's basically the brokenness of the wall jump. And then in Metroid Fusion, they nerfed it so that way you had to have two walls to wall jump. But then in Zero Mission, one thing I love is that they actually brought back single wall jumping, so it allows you to sequence break and just kind of just do some really crazy things. And if I can come up to an example, I'll show you. Actually, I'm trying to see how good we are on time. I think it's been about 20 minutes. Has it?
I'm not keeping track. Maybe?
Yep. I want well, one little quick. Yeah, we're about 26. Like, well, technically, like, not including the intro part, but we're like warming up. We're about 20 minutes in. So I guess just for the sake of making it look cool, I'm gonna go to a save station just so that way it looks official. Okay. And then
Sure.
after that, we'll be able to go to, next time we play, we'll go get the next upgrade.
I feel like I'm watching you play this, and you're like, I would say mastered this game, and I feel like all my friends have like one game that they've mastered, and yet like, I don't know, I feel like I don't have one.
I believe me, I am by no means a master of this game. There's people who can beat this game in like literally like 45 minutes, which isn't, and I mean like when 100% get everything in like 45 minutes. If you want to see some impressive stuff, even like for Super Metroid, like Super Metroid and Zero Mission speedruns are insane, completely insane. But all right, I think that's enough for now. I'm gonna save this game, and then we'll continue next time. So Corey, what do you think about your first episode of Zero Mission?
It was pretty red. Get it? Because her armor's red. Still got it, guys.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna end the podcast forever after that terrible joke. Just kidding, Corey. You know I love you.
I love you too.
But anyway, guys, all right, so thanks for watching. This is the first of many Let's Plays that we plan on doing. And I'm very happy that Zero Mission is my very first one. So this is Mike from Level With Me.
And I'm also here, Corey. And I guess we're signing out.
Yep, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
Later, guys.